Ooh, what's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMG, WTF, LOL, FTW, BRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWF in the year 2002. Booking the invasion angle, going longer than WWF actually did. That's why we're in 2002, still booking the invasion angle. Making our way down to the Royal Rumble. Walking past... I don't know the rest of the words. Da 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 da. All right, let's get into Monday Night Raw. Probably one of the quickest Raws I've ever booked. But you know what? I told you guys we're gonna be zooming as we get to the Royal Rumble. I want to get to it quick. I'm excited. We got a couple of pre-show matches here for Monday Night Raw. First one gets a 69 solid. Well, no. Solid is just a solid grade. I don't know why I keep saying solid. But anyway, 69 C plus rating here. Great match here. Although it says a decent pre-show bout. Didn't have much weight and heat. Team ECW, Rob Van Dam and Sabu. Going over the right to censor Val Venus and the Good Father when RVD defeats Val Venus with the 5-star frog splash after a distraction from Steven Richards. So kind of continuing on the implosion of the right to censor story from Sunday Night Heat here. We see Steven Richards kind of costing Val Venus the match. Maybe Venus was doing something Richards didn't agree with. You guys get the whole point. He distracted him, which led to RVD getting to hit the 5-star on him at some point. Sabu with a 61 in-ring performance. Rob Van Dam with a 76, who apparently carried the match. Wasn't too long ago that he was being carried. Good Father got a 50 and Val Venus with a 57. So Good Father with the weakest performance. We then go on to a 70 C+. Not a bad match as well. Decent wrestling, not much weight and heat. The commissioner of WCW, Lord Steven Regal, going over the one, Billy Gunn, who returned from his injury. Whoopee. After hitting him with the power of the punch in 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Regal with a 76, Billy Gunn with a 46. Billy Gunn is improving in performance, as is Regal. Good on you guys. And then finally, in the main event of the pre-show, we go to a 72 B-. I wanted to get Bradshaw and like Raven or, the hardcore title feud on Monday Night Raw, but I just ran out of time. So that's why it's on the pre-show here tonight. This wasn't my intention. It's just what I threw together since Vampiro is also in the flock and Billy Kid. You guys get where I'm going with this. Either way, 72 B-. Decent wrestling, not much weight and heat. Bradshaw and Billy Kidman going over the flocks, Raven and Vampiro, in 9 minutes, 57 seconds when Raven got himself intentionally disqualified while fighting Bradshaw. So this is not an Aussie Rules or a hardcore or a no disqualification match. There are DQs. Raven knew about the DQs. I'd imagine him going low with the blow right into Bradshaw's nether regions, costing them the match. But in a way, Raven was doing it on purpose because he doesn't really want to fight Bradshaw, I guess, at the moment. You get where this is going. Billy Kidman with a 66, Bradshaw with a 76, Vampiro with a 63, and Raven with a 73. It's interesting how the partners of each other were like 10 points off. 76 to a 66, 73 to a 63. Either way, Vampiro, weakest in-ring performer here tonight, but not too shabby from all four competitors. Bradshaw also improving in technical skills. We then open up the night with a solid A rating here with a 93. Monday Night Raw opens up with Jim Ross and The King welcoming everyone to Monday Night Raw. Welcome everyone to Monday Night Raw. They're hyping up tonight's main event. Tonight we'll see The Rock, the WWF champion, go on against the number one contender's brother Kane in our main event. But before they continue going hyping up the show, they are interrupted by the music of Stone Cold Steve Austin as he, alongside his protege, what do I call him? I feel like I call him the Man Beast, but I feel like that's also what WWF calls him, and I don't think I call him the same thing. But either way, Rhino, his protege, coming down to the ring with him as well. I can't remember. It's gonna bother me. And if it is the Man Beast, I need to come up with something better. Deborah's with them as well, mostly because of sex appeal. She might have brought this down, actually. Who knows? Either way, they make their way down towards the ring. The whole gang, they have smiles on their faces. They're happy once in the ring. Austin, he gets a mic, and he goes, "Well, thanks, but I wanted a beer. You dumb son bitch." And then the guy goes and gets him a beer, and Austin thanks him, and he says, "I'll keep the mic, though, thank you. We're done with you. Anyway, I'm not about to let some dumbass intern ruin my mood, because tonight, Stone Cold's got some big news for y'all. So shut up and listen. Now, not only will Rhino go on to win the Intercontinental Championship at the Royal Rumble, but alongside yours truly, Rhino will be in this year's Royal Rumble. And it just so happens that this will be Rhino's first Royal Rumble match. So all you dumb sons of bitches better beware, because Rhino and I are winning this damn thing." So Austin coming out and making the announcement that he and Rhino are going to be in the Rumble, but not for long here, because Mr. McMahon's music goes on to interrupt Stone Cold as he begins to make his way down towards the entryway. Austin then takes the mic as we move on to the notepad, and he goes, "This had better be really damn important, and I can imagine that it won't be, but it better be damn important for you to come out here and interrupt me right now." And then McMahon, and my best separation of the two's voice, because they got very growly voices. Anyway, moving on to McMahon, here we go. "Austin, it's important. You bet your ass it's important. Vincent Kennedy McMahon doesn't waste his time on things that aren't important. When it comes to the Royal Rumble, yeah, it's important. What's especially important about this year's Rumble," I'm using the word important ironically here, by the way. He's supposed to be kind of mocking Austin. So if you're getting annoyed by it, that's the point. Anyway, about this year's Rumble is that WCW occupies half of this year's Royal Rumble, leaving the other half to me. And like I told Paul Heyman last week, and like I told my idiot son-in-law Triple H last week, that those 15 spots are going to WWF guys. And Austin, Rhino, you two have made it damn clear that you are not WWF or WCW guys. Hell, Rhino isn't even an ECW guy. You're both Austin guys. So therefore you're both out of this year's Royal Rumble. What? Vince, don't make Rhino and I have to come up there and beat some sense into you, because you can bet your ass that I will. Oh, this is back and forth voices right here is not good on the throat. I wish I would have got some water or something. But anyway, now wait a minute, Austin. I'm willing to offer you another option. I just wasn't sure if you'd take me up on it, because you see, last week I told Paul to find his best ECW guy, Rob Van Dam, to go up against my son-in-law, Triple H, with the winner going on to be in this year's Royal Rumble. They gambled, ECW lost, Triple H won, and I'm willing to offer you and Rhino the same deal. Mentor versus protege. Rhino versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Winner is in the Royal Rumble, and the loser is out. There's room for one of you, but not both of you. And then Austin goes on to reply saying, "I see what you're trying to do here, Vince. You're trying to create a separation. But Rhino and I have a bond. Rhino and I knew that at one point it would be me versus him. So look here, son. I'm sorry, but tonight I'm going to beat you. I'm going to go on to win the Royal Rumble, and that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said it." But before Stone Cold can even finish his catchphrase, Rhino catches him off guard with a gore. I'm being a little loud. I gotta remember, people are still sleeping. I get a little excited when I record. So he catches him off guard with the gore, and then McMahon says with a smile on his face, "I'll take that as a yes. Get me a damn referee. We've got ourselves a match." So despite hitting him with the gore, it's not like Rhino could just pin him like that. To those of you going, well, why didn't Rhino just pin him right there? We still need a referee. So we're going to go into a commercial break and have ourselves the match. Unfortunately, Rhino's not going to really be able to capitalize off on the gore 100%, but Austin is going to go in a little injured, so we'll see where that goes. Deborah, she showed up, not shooed, but showed up very late today. We gave her a stern warning, which saw her personality get worse, so thanks for that, Deborah. I wish I could fire you, to be honest, but you're married to Stone Cold, and that would suck to have Stone Cold mad at me over you being fired. So I'm hoping you fuck up and I can just fire you. But we gave her a stern warning, and she was a bitch about it, you know. How dare you be mad at me for being late for my scheduled job? Anyway, Scott Steiner also has heat with the locker room due to his recent attitude, We gave him a slap on the wrist because I didn't really think there's much wrong. I mean, some people are just dicks. You can't really help that. What am I going to be like? Hey, we don't have your kind here. Unfortunately, Diamond Dallas Page was annoyed with our decision, but Rick Steiner was happy. So, I mean, I would hope so. Rick Steiner is the brother of Scott Steiner, so you would hope he would be happy. But some may call it a soft decision. I say I don't want to be too hard of a decision. It's not like they give me anything else. This angle did get the show off to a strong start, got the crowd hotter. Austin looked good. The Royal Rumble storyline moved on. Deborah somehow is improving in acting, even though she was just supposed to stand there and look pretty. We then open up the night with our matchup between Rhino and Stone Cold Steve Austin here. 79 solid B rating here, and about that had sensational wrestling. I feel like from now on we should probably say sensational, like Scar from Lion King did, and be prepared. So let's try it again. And about that had sensational wrestling and fantastic heat. Stone Cold Steve Austin does indeed go over Rhino, so despite the gore, and about that went 13 minutes and 18 seconds after a Stone Cold Stunner, Austin goes over his protege. Stone Cold will be in this year's Royal Rumble. Rhino will not. But you know what? Rhino will be in a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship, so it's not like he's being left off the card. 79 solid B here. Rhino and Austin have pretty good chemistry, so I know we've talked about this before, but it's been a while since they've had an actual one-on-one match. So despite them being mentor and protege, they also have good chemistry when fighting each other, so it's like a match made in heaven. Anyway, got the crowd hotter. Rhino with an in-ring performance of an 89. Stone Cold with a 100. A whopping 100. There you go, guys. Great match. Austin, like I said, is in the Royal Rumble now. I didn't put it after it, but I'd imagine a handshake or something because they are on good terms. Nothing bad. We then move on to a 72 B-. Backstage. We're in the Hardy Boys locker room. We see Matt Hardy. He's complaining to Lita about Jeff. Nothing really too specific, just that he's angry that Jeff's getting all these shots and he's not. Jeff Hardy then walks in and he goes, "What's up, guys?" Maybe not that enthusiastic, but more of a, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And then Matt, a little angry, he goes, "Don't what's up me. Don't walk in here and act like you didn't just take away my opportunity at the Intercontinental title." And then Jeff goes, "That's where you're mistaken, Matt. It wasn't your or my opportunity. It was a opportunity. An opportunity I took and that you let slip through your hands. Look, Matt, I'm done babying you. I love you and you're my brother, and I'd be happy for you if the roles were reversed. So can we just go back to being brothers? Because either way, you and I got a match with Jericho and Christian next." And then Jeff, of course, a little angry because, he's getting pissed. There's really no reason for Matt to be mad at Jeff. So he walks out. The camera pans on the Matt's face, kind of just showing him a little pissed off there. Lita, who was rated on sex appeal, was good, so thank you, Lita. Jeff Hardy is developing better performance skills, so can't complain too hard. We then go into said tag team matchup here with a solid B with an 82 rating here. And about that had superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Vitamin C, Chris Jericho and Christian going over Jeff and Matt, the Hardy Boys, in 10 minutes and 5 seconds. When Christian defeats Jeff Hardy with the Unprettier, we saw Matt get distracted by Lita and Daphne because once again, Daphne attacking Lita. In terms of in-ring work, Jericho, of course, was head and shoulders above everybody else here. So pretty much the gimmick here would be the Hardy Boys were looking good. Well, pretty much the first gimmick here is the fact that both Jeff and Christian are in the Fatal 4-Way Intercontinental title matches, which is why we really have this match. But like I was saying, we have, Lita and Daphne, of course, have their little bit of feud. Daphne keeps attacking Lita, which leads to Matt Hardy getting distracted because, well, that's his girlfriend. Jeff, who, of course, is in this tag team match with his brother, expecting his brother to be there. There is no tag, so he has to turn around. Probably gets speared by Christian, who then goes on to hit him with the Unprettier. 1, 2, 3, Christian pins Jeff Hardy, and if this was the Fatal 4-Way match, would be our new Intercontinental Champion. Matt Hardy is getting better at his gimmick. Of course, Matt and Jeff and Jericho and Christian have excellent chemistry when teaming with each other. Jeff with a in-ring performance of an 88. Matt Hardy with an 80. Christian with a 91. Good on you. And Chris Jericho with a 100. So Matt Hardy with the weakest in-ring performance here. The Lita-Daphne feud gained heat, I bet. And it just moved along the Royal Rumble and Intercontinental Championship feuds. Yes. We then move on to a 67 solid, or not solid, but a 67 C plus here. Michael Cole is backstage. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Cole here, and joining me at this time is Lita and her boyfriend, Matt Hardy. But before Cole can even ask a question, before the interview can start, Jeff comes in, who is still frustrated for Matt leaving him, and he goes, "What the hell, Matt?" Matt then steps up and goes, "Don't what the hell me. Daphne jumped Lita again. I had to go check on her. Someone I actually care about and someone I know that cares about me." Lita tries to get him to stop, but, Jeff goes on to say, "Look, no offense to you, Lita, but she looks fine. Lita is the WWF Women's Champion, so she obviously knows how to fight and can handle her own. That was a tag match. You were supposed to have my back. I don't know when you turned into such a selfish ass, but I hate it. I want my old brother back, and trust me, Matt, this new side of you won't lead you to bigger success. It's going to sink you even further down the card." And then Jeff storms off. And I'd imagine, I didn't write it in here, I forgot to, but I'd imagine that leads kind of like Matt following after Jeff, because, wait a minute, this isn't over, pretty much, like they're arguing like brothers do. And then Cole goes on, "Lita, if this isn't a good time," and then Lita goes, "You know what, no, Cole, now is the perfect time. Because Jeff is right, I can take care of myself. And I'm sick of Daphne jumping me at every opportunity she can. Which is why if Daphne wants to fight, then it's a fight she'll get." And then that's when, off the camera, we hear a familiar voice saying, "Yeah, well, what about me?" And then in walks Jacqueline, as we see. I didn't finish it, and I didn't write it, because I didn't feel like it was worth it. But Jacqueline pretty much goes on to say how she feels Lita's been ducking her. Like, yeah, Lita beat her in the past, but she didn't beat her today. And she goes on to say that, she can beat Lita whenever, and Lita, a fighting person, she steps up and takes the challenge. So therefore we have Lita versus Jacqueline, which will be next. Matt Hardy foreshadowing a heel turn heel. A heel turn heel, sure. Lita and Daphne lost some heat, but that's fine, because it's probably going to lose even more heat as we go into our women's match here with a 68 C plus here. Subpar wrestling and little heat. Lita going over Jacqueline and ends it decisively, apparently. Did I book that in, or did they do that themselves? Yeah, they did. They made it decisive. They were like, "Yeah, you want it decisive? We're going to make it decisive." Lita makes Jacqueline tap out in 7 minutes and 50 seconds by submission. No real submission hold. Lita with a 62 in-ring performance to Jacqueline's 55. And there you have that. Lita shutting Jacqueline up, and just a little impromptu match, mostly because I haven't used Jacqueline since like October, so I was like, maybe I should put her in a match. Jacqueline's improving in performance. And then after the match, we go to a pull-apart brawl here. Solid C with a 59 rating here. Daphne comes out to attack Lita once again. Lita, though, sees it coming, so we have a bit of a brawl here between both Daphne and Lita, which leads to Lita's boyfriend, Matt Hardy, coming out, and the two members of the flock, Bossman and Perry Saturn, coming out to separate the two. And I'd imagine it ending with Lita getting away from Matt, going to the top rope, and doing a moonsault onto Bossman, Perry Saturn, and Daphne to end off the segment here, looking good. Daphne apparently performed poorly, lost even more heat, but that's fine. Lita looking good. Lita. We then go to a solid A rating here with an 89 rating here. Michael Cole once again backstage. I'd imagine Jim Ross sending it back to Cole, saying that he is with Kane and the number one contender, The Undertaker. And Cole says, "Thanks, JR. Joining me now is the number one contender to the WWF Championship, The Undertaker, and the man who faces the WWF Champion tonight, Kane. Now, Kane, tonight you've got The Rock. But we know at the Royal Rumble that your brother, The Undertaker, will be challenging The Rock for the WWF Championship. And with the record you set last year with the most eliminations at the Royal Rumble, or in the Royal Rumble at 11, although there hasn't been an announcement yet, one has to wonder that you'll be in this year's Royal Rumble." Of course, he goes to let Kane talk, but Kane doesn't talk. At least he shouldn't talk. So he doesn't talk, and then Taker goes on to say, "I'll take it from here, Cole. To answer your question, you're damn right. My brother will be in this year's Rumble. And when he goes on to win the Royal Rumble, he'll go on to beat, or, to take WCW's title, just like I'm going to take The Rock's. And then the Brothers of Destruction are going to end this war between the WWF and WCW once and for all. Rock, you want to know the reason I chokeslammed you last week? It's because you say that you're here for the WWF, but in all actuality, you only care about yourself. And you always have. For example, at War Games, you said you were going to lead. Hold on, we got to pull up the handy-dandy notepad here. You said you were going to lead Team WWF to victory. But what happened, Rock? You chose to fight for a championship, which led to me leading Team WWF. And now I know what you're going to say. I know you're going to say that Team WWF lost, but you know what? Hey, at least we went down fighting. Now, Rock, it's time for a change, and by change, I mean that I'm going to take that WWF Championship from you at the Royal Rumble, and that also means that when you step into my yard, you are stepping into the champ's yard. Your time is up, boy, because the dead man ain't playing games anymore. And then he walks away, and then Michael Cole being like, heated words from the Undertaker, back to you guys, or some shit like that, who knows. So Undertaker came out of this looking excellent, came across well, sure, and then gained some heat to the Rock and Taker feud here. We then move on to just a transition segment, I guess would be the way I would describe this. Solid 77B for what it's worth, but then again, we rated Test Albert on Menace and Trish on Sex Appeal. Now, Trish is like great on Sex Appeal, and TNA both have some pretty good Menace on them. They're just making their way towards the ring, you know, during like a commercial break transition. Albert getting better at his gimmick somehow. I don't know how. We then move on to, honestly, a impressive, solid A rating here with an 89. I did not think this would get an A rating here, so good on you guys. Test and Albert really doing a lot better. TNA's music hits. They make their way towards the ring. Once in the ring, Test takes the mic and he says, so next week at the Royal Rumble, it finally happens. The Steiner brothers versus TNA. Look, we know you two idiots are here. We saw you walking around the back. So how about instead of jumping us from behind like always, you come out here and face us like men? So we wait for a few minutes, a couple minutes or two, and the Steiner brothers' music's finally hit, and out comes Scott, out comes Rick. Scott takes the mic and he says, you know, you got some nerve calling us out here, boy. And then Tess goes on to say, I've got some nerve. This coming from the men who jumped me in a parking lot twice because they couldn't beat me. How long did you guys say it's been since you've been the WWF Tag Team Champions? 90 years or so? Look, it doesn't matter, because come the Royal Rumble, that number just continues to grow, because there ain't no way in hell we're letting you two beat us. And then Scott goes, can't beat you? Are you serious, kid? I'll break you. And then Tess, you know, he's taking the challenge. He ain't backing down. He says, you know what? Well, how's that idiot brother of yours saying anyway? If you want some, come get some. And I imagine Scott starts walking down to the ring, but Rick kind of steps in front of the way, you know, pushes his brother back because that was his catchphrase. He starts taking off his, you know, little jacket vest, whatever you want to call it, and starts making a beeline towards the ring as we're about to have an impromptu matchup here between Test and Rick Steiner. Apparently the performance of Albert was good as well. Gained some heat to the Steiner brothers feud. So we go on to have a solid B rating here with an 80 performance, and about to have good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Test goes on to defeat Rick Steiner in 9 minutes, 42 seconds with the pump handle slam. So there you have it. Beat Steiner fair and clean. Apparently Test and Rick Steiner have great chemistry, so that's awesome. Would never expected that. Although not enough selling shown, which I did expect that. Test with an in-ring performance of an 88 to Rick Steiner's 72, so despite being the veteran, Steiner was the weaker of the two in the match. No worker improvements as we move on to the next segment here, which gets a 76 B- here. Definitely not a long segment, so that's why I imagine it doing pretty, you know, this bad. Scott, he pulls his brother out of the ring, and then he slides in the ring with the mic of his own, and he says, don't celebrate too long, boy, because you still haven't beaten me. And then Test, he rips the mic right out of Scott's hand. He goes, I ain't backing down. You want to do this? Let's do this now. And then he takes a shot at Scott, lays him out, bell rings, and we have yet another impromptu matchup between Test and Scott Steiner now. So Trish helping Test out during the segment, sure. So we go on to the matchup, which gets a 78 solid B here, and about had great wrestling and good heat to it. Test goes on to defeat Scott Steiner in 5 minutes, 56 seconds, when Scott Steiner gets himself intentionally disqualified, probably, you know, kicking him in another region or something. So I'd imagine, you know, back and forth action, Test looking really good against Scott, which led to him, you know, getting worried, kicking, you know, Test in the groin, leading to, you know, him getting the DQ. Scott with an in-ring performance of an 88 to Test his 82. And we then move on to the final Steiner TNA segment, which ends off with a solid A rating with a 92. Hell yes. We got Scott and Rick who start just brutally beating down on Test and Albert. Albert gets in the ring. Scott goes after him. Rick's back up. I'd imagine them getting chairs, just beating down on Test and Albert, laying them out, and then standing over tall, putting their foot on their chest, holding up the WWF Tag Team Championships, maybe making some gestures towards, Trish Stratus, who's also rating on sex appeal, so I'd imagine she helping out. Very good. Thank you very much. Scott Steiner improvised well. Oh, yeah, he was on the mic. I'd imagine him going on to say something like, at the Royal Rumble, we're going to hospitalize you boys or something like that. You know how Scott Steiner talks. Either way, Rick Steiner's improving in acting as well. So there you have it. Great segment here. And honestly, I had a lot of fun booking the Steiner test segments. That was my whole work thinking right there. For some of you guys who don't know this, I book some things in my head at work. And I came up with a whole, what do I want to do with Testin or TNA and the Steiners this week? So I came up with this whole thing, and I really enjoyed having that segment. I feel like that was a fun segment. Either way, we move on to a A-star rating here with a 99, so close to a 100. The Rock, he's making his way towards the ring when Michael Cole quickly runs up to him and he says, Rock, any thoughts going into your match tonight against Kane? And The Rock says, same thoughts as always that go through The Rock's mind. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to whoop that cinnamon candy ass. And then Cole goes on to say, well, The Undertaker had some harsh words for you earlier, accusing you of not only caring for yourself, but also using the WWF as your platform for something greater. And then Rock goes, he stops and he says, Michael Cole, The Undertaker didn't say anything The Rock hasn't heard before. He claims The Rock is selfish, when he himself dropped the Intercontinental title like an ugly girl on prom night to go after a much prettier WWF title. He says he was defending the WWF's honor because he led and failed to win War Games, when he fails to realize that while he was wrestling in cages, The Rock went to war with WCW's best man, who earned The Rock's respect, Mr. DDP. You see, The Rock took the WWF title away from Anarchy and brought it home. And look here, dead man, I respect the hell out of you, and I understand what you're trying to do. I understand that you're trying to do some good, but also understand that Lucifer thought he could do God's job better. Trust me, dead man, you can't do The Rock's job better. Come Royal Rumble, just like God did to Lucifer, The Rock sends your undead biker ass back to hell. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. And then The Rock leaves, making his way towards the ring for our main event between him and Kane. I can get rid of all this. And there you have it. You know what? Hold on. Before we do this, I forget... the name of the... I know they're the Four Horsemen in WCW, but I think they're like the Brainbusters in WWF. I don't remember. But we're going to do Arn and Ole Anderson for the Hall of Fame, not just Arn. And I know that's kind of random that I just did that, but I just saw it and I was like, you know what, before I forget. So we go on to the main event of the night, which gets a solid B rating here with a 77. A little disappointing, I won't lie. In an exceptional match, The Rock goes over Kane in 13 minutes, 17 seconds with the Rock Bottom. We had the Undertaker kind of distract Rock during the match. Of course, he was ringside watching. Not on commentary, but just kind of watching. So Rock beats Kane, Rock Bottom. 1, 2, 3. Rock with an in-ring performance of a 96. Kane with an 87. Lost heat for the Undertaker-Rock feud, which is unfortunate. As we move on to the ending segment here, which, does even worse. That's... why? Well, either way, we have a stare down between Rock and Taker, which leads to the Undertaker getting a Rock Bottom. Like the title says, we got a stare down, and similar to last week where Taker caught Rock off guard with a choke slam. I said that wrong. Where Taker caught Rock off guard with a choke slam, Rock catches Taker off guard with the Rock Bottom, and then poses with the crowd to end off the show. Although I wonder why that did so bad. A 75 B minus? That's interesting. No specific comments to be made about the show, because I'll be honest, the main event definitely didn't live up. 86 B plus, though, is nothing to be mad about. That's still a pretty good rating. Still don't know why it ended off so bad. Oh, we have a decision. Why? I mean, I know I haven't hired anybody, so I can look at it, but still. Because the person we did want to hire is now on the roster. Let the speculation begin. We need to hire James Mitchell because apparently he's the best manager in the world. So that's something we're going to be doing here. Probably sooner rather than later. Apparently, Tess says Rick Steiner needs to learn how to sell. He's not worth pushing until then. That's addressed. Thank you, Tess. So what do we have here? Oh, no. Oh, I don't care. I guess I'm going to fine you just because it's marijuana, but I really don't care about go ahead and do that. But, I mean, RVD's unhappy. Heyman's unhappy. A lot of people are unhappy that I just fined him. But not enough to show up, so I don't really care. But that does, like, show that I guess maybe that's not the right decision. But, don't come up dirty. Let's check off the storylines before we end this off. So, 84B plus for the 4-way IC title. Vampiro and Kidman with a 62C along with Bradshaw and Raven. DDP and Giant with an 82B. Edge and Palumbo with a 77B. Right 2 Center with a 61C. Boogie Nights Too Cool with a 56C minus. Angle Benoit with an 86B. Wish it was doing a little better. Storm and Eddie with a 79B. That's doing really good. 72B minus for Lita and Daphne. That's holy shit good. 74B minus for Power Plant and Canyon and Hugh Morris. That's not bad. Daphne and Lita makes it look like it's bad, but it's not. The Royal Rumble's got an 84B. TNA and Steiner's with an 83B. And then The Rock with an Undertaker with a 77B. That's worrisome. So far, that's like our best feud, it looks like. Let's go ahead and do a quick auto push here. Oh, what's up, Brooklyn Brawler? And then I was going to do a creative meeting, but then I remembered I would probably spoil someone I hired. So let's not do that. But either way, nerds and geeks, my name's been OMG WTF, LOL FTW BRB. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor, leave me a comment, a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you guys for Thursday Night Nitro. So until then, have yourselves a great day.